Hey guys, this is Gavin from Team Iron Core. I'm going to give you the profile of my favorite deck in all of YuGiOh. This is the best archetype ever made. It's never really been a competitive build for anyone to run, but I love it. It's a fantastically fun deck, and this is my fun deck for you guys here. It's Ice Barriers. So we got right off the monster line here, we got General Gantala of the Ice Barrier. I run him at 2. He's a level 7, 2700 beater. So that's awesome to start off with. And every end phase, he special summons any Ice Barrier from your graveyard. Any Ice Barrier includes Synchro monsters, guys. Run 1 General Raiho of the Ice Barrier. He is fantastic. He is an effect veil that he negates all effects on the fields as long as your opponent doesn't discard a card from their hand. So, yeah, they can discard a card and activate their effects, but that's losing so many resources. You trample your opponent's resources immediately. I run 1 Sojo of the Ice Barrier. When he gets summoned, he gets turned to defense position automatically, so he's a wall for you to start out with. And his effect makes him no Ice Barriers on the field are allowed to be destroyed by spells or traps. So you can go into Call the Haunted on him, and then while they're MSTing your Call the Haunted, he still comes out in the field. You can go Dark Hole, Eternal Tribute, anything like that, and all your monsters still survive. I run 3 Strategists of the Ice Barrier. He's the main engine of this deck. The deck was not very fast as is, which is the problem, so you have to run a lot of back row hate, but because of that, you still don't have a summoning power, and tributing takes a long time and people can stop it quickly. So what I do in my deck is I have 3 Strategists, and you just discard all of your big monsters to the graveyard and summon them out in other ways. So he's the main the engine for that. He's basically Dark World dealings once per turn. I run 2 Dance Princess of the Ice Barrier. She's a 17 beat stick, so that's pretty good to start off with. And then if you can get her effect off, it's pretty good. And she's like a giant Trunade, a miniature giant Trunade, which is a good effect. And she's also level 7, so she can, level 4, so you can make those rank 4 exceeds really quickly. Which is Abyss Dweller in this format is awesome because all your monsters get an attack boost, and you can stop your opponent's Dark Wolves and Mermails. I run 3 Prior of the Ice Barrier. He is this secondary engine of this deck. After you discard all your big beat sticks to your graveyard, you can just summon Prior and send him to the graveyard and special him back out. And you can just keep reusing him as special him out with Gantala and just like abuse the crap out of this card right here because it's so broken. Also, it says rank 5 or higher can't be special the turn that it specials itself. So you could just go for level 4 and overlay to a level 4. And you can just sit on that for 3 turns. This is my tech in of 1 Blizz, the Defender of the Ice Barrier. It's really good. First off, I run a different build. I'm going to show you in a bit. But you need a lot of different names for different Ice Barriers in your hand at all times. So first off, he's a different target for a name. And second off, when he dies, you draw a card. That's awesome. 2 Defender of the Ice Barrier. It's a wall. It's a level 3 tuner, so he's the tuner of this build right now, unless you side into others. And if he's in defense position, your opponent cannot declare an attack basically ever, as long as they have less attack than him. So you can just sit on him in defense position, and your opponent can't ever do anything to attack you, and you just wait until you get your big V6 on the field yourself. Let's go on to the spell and trap lineup. I'm going to start off with spells. First off, I'm going to run 2 Pot of Duality. This is just for consistency. You special often in this deck, but it's really not often enough that it really makes a difference, and you're just going to run the Dualities for consistency. You got to have what you have in your hand. So I run 2 Surface. These get our Priors of the Ice Barrier and Defenders of the Ice Barrier back on the field, and you can tribute them off for sync or do anything like that. It just gives you some more consistency and special power. I run 3 Medalion of the Ice Barrier. This thing is like a Rhoda with no restrictions. It's an incredibly broken card, and this card alone should make people run Ice Barriers. Now, no one else runs this that I know of, but this card is too good not to. Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier is a super fantastic card. You have 3 Ice Barriers in your hand with different names. You blow up 1 card on the field your opponent controls, and then you special one of those Ice Barriers. Now you can just normal summon again and do whatever you want. It's incredibly broken. You do have to have a lot of hand advantage for this, but even if you dead draw into this, you can just set it and your opponent's going to MST it or whatever, because you're going to make your opponent use their resources on something that's not even useful. This is a great card. 1 Foolish Burial, you got to have your graveyard control. Monster Reborn, double MST, back row hate sucks. Dark Hole, and Book of Moon. Those are your staples. I don't run Heavy Storm because I run a lot of back row, so you just don't need it. I just run MSTs. Now on to the trap lineup. I run 2 Fiendish Chains. This gets rid of your opponent's big monsters and their good effects, because this deck needs to have your cards stay on the field at all times. You can't just summon a guy and let it die, so you have to have your cards stay on the field. So this is just to make sure your opponent doesn't get any beat sticks out on you. Double Bottomless for the same reason. You get rid of your opponent's big beat sticks and your big contenders that they bring out, make them use the resources up. The Solemn Brigade, pretty self-explanatory. Just make your opponent stop doing their things. You don't want your opponent to have any advantages. Double Mirror Forces, incredibly broken. This is a fantastic card. So what if they Stardust, or Starlight Road and get out of Stardust? You can just Bottomless it or Fiendish it. It's just such a good card. And then 3 Calls of the Haunted. All of the special power out of your graveyard is insane. You can go from no cards in your hand, draw 1 prior, and get all your guys back within 2 turns because of all the special power I have in the deck. So you have to keep it consistent. The extra deck isn't as important. I have the exact same extra deck as used in my Mermail deck. This is just some stuff to sync out to. Armory Arm is good to equip. Catastor is good. Gunganir is good. Scrap. Mistworm. Double Gotchi Gotchi. This is something I would actually run if I was you, because Gotchi Gotchi is just awesome. You have several level 2s, and you can just sit on them. And so that's always a good card to have. Boost your monsters. Zinmanes, Leviathans, Bahama Sharks. Just some good stuff. But the one I really would suggest is Abyss Dweller. You get a bunch of level 4 targets, and you can just overlay it to Abyss Dweller, boost your Gantala over 3k. Your opponent cannot get over that. It's so good. Utopia, Papilloperative, and Mermail Abyss YuGiOh. He's really good. You sit on some level 7s a lot, so like if you ever needed to get him out, I suppose then he would be really good because he's also more stall power and lockdown power. But yeah, you can run stuff in your side deck, but this is a fun deck anyways. So thanks for watching, guys.